Last night, the kick was good. Tonight, the 2-point conversion is good. Our Washington Capitals drop 8 on the Montreal Canadiens at the Bell Center. Yes, Caps win 8-4 over the Habs in Montreal. They outshoot the Canadiens 36-28. Chased a goaltender out of this game. They had a hat trick and 2 more almost hat tricks. Let's get into it, babes. First period, 58 seconds in, noted crybaby Yuri Slafkovsky takes an obvious high sticking penalty for getting Alexei Protas in the face. He takes a seat for 2 or less. And as it turns out, it was much less than 2 minutes in the box for Yuri Slafkovsky on this one. In fact, he spent only 2 seconds in the box as face-off, right as soon as the power play starts here. Dylan Strome, clean win of the draw back to Alex Ovechkin. That is who you want shooting the biscuit, baby. Straight into the basket past Samuel Montembeault. Beats him with a beautiful shot from far out. 1-0 Caps on the power play goal. So we are a minute in here and the Caps are already 1-for-1 on the power play here tonight. That is a nice change of pace for sure. And yeah, for Alex Ovechkin, that is his 8th goal of the season already for the 40-year-old captain of the Washington Capitals. That one is the 905th goal of his National Hockey League career. Oh, but wait, there was more in this game. We will get to that. And yeah, Dylan Strome on the primary assist here, the only assist on this goal with that clean face-off win, like I said, back to Ovi. 1-0 Caps here just a minute in. Later on in the first period, Brendan Gallagher would answer with a power play goal of their own for the Habs, making it 1-1. That is Brendan Gallagher's first goal in like a million games, I believe. First of the season anyway for him. We are a quarter of the way through this season now. And they did have to review this one as it wasn't even initially called a goal on the ice there, as it hadn't appeared to cross the goal line. But they go upstairs, or to Toronto rather, to the video review room, take a look at this one, and they say that they have conclusive evidence that this puck crosses the goal line completely at some point here. I wasn't convinced just because they didn't show me anything on the broadcast that looked like it did, but maybe they have a different angle, right? But they don't show it to us, at least not on the broadcast that I was watching. So anyways, they count this one here for the Montreal Canadiens, giving them, like I said, a power play goal of their own to answer here and making it 1-1. And that is how the first period would end. Second period, and just 2 minutes into the second period here, and just as a Capitals power play is set to expire, Alex Ovechkin finds Ethen Frank in the slot, and Frankie rips it home past Montembeault. A beautiful shot there by Ethen Frank for his first goal of this season so far. So Ethen Frank with his first goal of the season, like I said, just as that power play was getting set to expire there. Alex Ovechkin on the primary assist and Dylan Strome as well on the secondary assist makes it 2-1 Washington Capitals. Then just a minute and 38 seconds after that, at even strength now, 5-on-5 play here, Alexei Protas launches a pass that Ethen Frank can just skate into the Habs zone. Ethen Frank catches up to his pass beautifully here. A great play by those two, and he lets another shot rip, and again, he beats Samuel Montembeault for the 3-1 lead. So Ethen Frank's second goal in a minute and 38 seconds here. Alexei Protas obviously on the primary assist, and Hendrix Lapierre as well on the secondary assist, and this goal here is enough for Martin St. Louis to pull Samuel Montembeault from this game. He had seen enough, gives him the hook here, and so the Caps have chased the Habs starting netminder very early on here in this second period, and with a 3-1 score here, Dobes, he will come into this game for the Habs. And he did not fare much better, but we will get to that. Joe Veleno, his first goal of the season for the Habs, cuts the Caps lead to 3-2. But then the Caps with the answer here just a few minutes later, this game following much the same script as the Caps game just last night did against the Edmonton Oilers. The first half of the back-to-back against the Oilers, this game following much the same script, like I said, in which the Caps would take a 2-goal lead. the opposition would be able to get within one goal by scoring a goal, but each time that they got within one goal, the Caps would respond and extend their lead again, right? So that is very important, and the Caps doing it again here tonight against the Montreal Canadiens, the same thing that they did to the Edmonton Oilers last night. So they might give up a goal to let the other team get back within one, but they never let them come all the way back to tie it, right? They just keep responding, keep answering with goals of their own, and keep extending their lead once again to get it back to a 2-goal lead over and over and over again, right? And then eventually tonight stretch it out to a 4-goal lead in the end, but we will get to that, right? So yeah, Caps here with the answer again, like I said, and it is a big hit down in the corner by Tom Wilson. Stop me if you've heard that one before, huh? You remember in the playoffs what turned that series around? Just last season against these very same Montreal Canadiens in this very same building, the Bell Center. Yeah, big Tom Wilson hit, turns the game around. We have heard that before, certainly. So yeah, he lays the boom down in the corner. John Carlson picks up the puck, sends it out front to Jakob Chychrun, and Chychrun has all the time in the world here. Not sure what Montreal was doing defensively on this play. They kind of quit on the play, expecting that Tom Wilson was going to get nailed for a penalty, as he so often does. Obviously, there is a bit of a Tom Wilson tax that he pays with all of the big hits that he throws. He gets called more often than most anyone else, but he doesn't get called here. And so they're all kind of standing around with their thumbs up their asses, waiting for a whistle to go. Meanwhile, like I said, John Carlson is sending the puck across to Jakob Chychrun, and Jakob Chychrun has all the time in the world to just walk right downtown and walk right into this thing. Huge booming slap shot with his head up, picking his corner here, blasts it past Dobes for the 4-2 Caps lead. And for Jakob Chychrun, the defenseman, that is his 5th goal of this season already. He is again on pace for 20 goals as a defenseman in the National Hockey League. Incredible stuff by Jakob Chychrun. Continues to bring the offense and continues to bring it on the back end for the Caps as well defensively, and just really all over the ice for Jakob Chychrun. Like I said, last video, I believe it was, what a contract extension by the Caps, getting this guy locked up for the next 8 seasons. Great stuff. Very happy about that for sure. And so yeah, his 5th goal of the season already. He is on pace for 20 goals again as a defenseman. And John Carlson here on the primary assist. That is the only assist on this goal, although Tom Wilson should get an assist as well for hammering Jake Evans down in the corner that creates all of the havoc that causes this goal. Now, Montreal fans are bitching pretty incessantly about what they deem to be an elbowing penalty by Tom Wilson right before this goal. It goes uncalled, and the referee is standing right there. But Montreal fans, they think it's a penalty. And so even if that were true, okay, I guess Martin Fehervari's stick just slashed itself out of his hands right before the Habs' 2nd goal. It all evens out, folks, okay? And also, I don't know if you noticed, but you lost this game 8-4. It wasn't exactly the defining play in the hockey game, but you can tell yourselves that if that helps you sleep tonight. And you know who didn't get any sleep last night was probably the Washington Capitals, as yeah, they were on the second half of a back-to-back for this game here tonight in Montreal. They played in Washington, D.C. last night, had to hop on a plane, cross the border, and head all the way up to Montreal overnight, okay? So the Caps, they had that built-in excuse here tonight if they were to drop this game that, yeah, they were on the second half of a back-to-back with travel, with pretty heavy travel as well, crossing the border overnight, like I said, while the Montreal Canadiens were fully rested, right? So what is the excuse here for Montreal from their fans here that their team gets their asses kicked up and down the ice to the tune of 8-4, like I said, by a team that should have been tired in the Washington Capitals? Anyways, Nick Suzuki makes it 4-3 briefly here for the Habs. But yeah, barely 2 minutes after that goal by the Montreal Canadiens, again, it is the Washington Capitals with the quick response here. Barely 2 minutes later, like I said, and this time it is Sonny Milano. Beautiful move here backhand, pulls it to his forehand, quick flip past Dobes, and not sure exactly what the fuck Dobes was doing on this goal. He is sliding all the way out of the net here. He ends up well out of the net as Sonny Milano puts this one past him, making it 5-3. Ethen Frank on the primary assist, Rasmus Sandin on the secondary assist. 5-3 Caps, like I said, and that is how the second period would end. Third period, Mike Matheson makes it 5-4, but again, the Washington Capitals with the response. Lane Hudson passed to absolutely no one here in the slot for the Montreal Canadiens. Dylan Strome picks up this puck all the way back in his own defensive end, skates up ice on an odd man break with none other than Alex Ovechkin, and Strome feeds Ovi, and Ovi beats Dobes clean for the 6-4 lead. And it goes without saying, but yeah, there was just under 4 minutes left in this hockey game at the time of this goal by Alex Ovechkin. So this is a huge goal here for the Washington Capitals by their captain, extending their lead again back to 2 goals again, right, as they did all night. And kind of, putting this one away here for the Caps. For Alex Ovechkin, that is obviously his second goal of this evening here now, his 9th goal of this season already for the 40-year-old. And yeah, Dylan Strome on the primary assist. That is the only assist on this goal. So 6-4 Caps, and then Alex Ovechkin would nail the empty net all the way from his own defensive end of the ice. Turn and fire, baby. He is not even looking at the net here again, and yet he nails the cage, literally right dead center, right in the middle of the cage. It was like right on line with that center bar of the net there, right in the middle of the net. He could not have hit the net any more square, right in the middle. Like I said, not even looking here, just turns and fires. He knows where the net is. If anyone knows where the net is, it is that man, the all-time leading goal scorer in National Hockey League history, with an incredible, 33rd career hat trick tonight. But even bigger is that those are goals, obviously number 905, 906, and now 907 of his National Hockey League career. So yeah, he just continues here to extend his own NHL record now, further and further over top of Wayne Gretzky and all of those other great players, Hall of Fame players, the greatest of all time players, right? That he is just leaving more and more in his dust here. So yeah, the hat trick tonight for Alex Ovechkin. John Carlson, by the way, with the primary assist on that goal. That is the only assist on that goal. And that puts the Caps up here 7-4. And yeah, for Alex Ovechkin, that is not only the hat trick goal here tonight, like I said, 33rd hat trick of his NHL career. I believe that is his 4th hat trick against the Montreal Canadiens franchise as well. He has owned them, my goodness. So not only is that for the hat trick there, but that is his 10th goal now of this season already. He is on pace now for nearly 40 goals again as a 40-year-old. He is probably going to outscore his age yet again here this season. Obviously last season, he finished 3rd in the entire National Hockey League in goals, despite being 39 years old and despite missing about a quarter of the season with a literally broken leg mid-season, okay? Comes back, keeps firing, goes on an absolute tear, just as he was before he broke his leg, picks right up where he left off on that, supposedly still recovering leg, was supposedly still recovering last season, and yet he managed to, like I said, pick up right where he left off and go on a tear again, breaks Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals record, and yeah, finishes with 44 goals, an insane 44 goals in only 65 games as a 39-year-old, and like I said, finishing 3rd in the entire league in goals as a 39-year-old. So he could easily outscore his age here again this season. Ovi, he now has 6 goals in the Caps' past 4 games, 7 goals in their past 6 games. And yeah, he's a point per game player this season, pretty much. I believe he has 20 points now in 21 games that the Caps have played. So basically a point per game as a 40-year-old. He is a massively plus player. Like, he is just playing some incredible hockey right now as a 40-year-old, like I said. And yeah, this has kind of been the pattern for him these past few seasons as he has, gotten a little bit older, is that he might start a little bit slow in the first few weeks of the season, but he kind of uses those first few weeks of the season to kind of get back into shape, right? And then once he does, oh boy, does he ever take off. And we have seen this now over and over and over again in the later years of his career here. This is the pattern. This is what he does. And he is on fire now. So yeah, 7-4 Caps on Alex Ovechkin's hat trick goal. The Habs, they would then put their netminder back in the goal to finish this game out here. And Sonny Milano, just adding salt to the wound here, puts another one past Jakub Dobes to make it 8-4 for your Washington Capitals. So Sonny Milano's second goal of the night here for him. And that one is assisted by Ethen Frank on the primary assist and by Hendrix Lapierre as well on the secondary assist. And yeah, 8-4, baby. That would be your final score. The Caps come into the Bell Center in Montreal and fuck shit up just as they did in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs last season. And yeah, a great team game here by the Caps again here tonight, right? But as well, not just the team game, but also some great individual performances here as well. Alex Ovechkin, obviously, with the hat trick, adds a primary assist as well on one of Ethen Frank's goals. So he finishes the evening with 4 points. He is the first star of the game, Alex Ovechkin is. And then the third star of this game was Ethen Frank. 2 goals, 2 assists for Frank. 4 points for him tonight. What a performance by him, being called up obviously earlier from the Hershey Bears, and has played several really good games in a row now for the Washington Capitals. So great to see him getting some production here to reward him for what really, like I said, has been a string of very, very, very strong games by him for the Washington Capitals. Also up front, Sonny Milano, 2 goals, right? A great injection of speed and skill into the lineup whenever he comes back into the lineup, right? So 2 goals here for the Sunshine Man tonight in Montreal. Dylan Strome, 3 assists on the night for Dylan Strome. Hendrix Lapierre as well with 2 assists. And on the back end, we talked about Jakob Chychrun's goal, obviously. Yeah, he is on pace for 20 goals again. Again, another great start to the season for Jakob Chychrun. And yeah, John Carlson as well, helping out again with another 2 assists. And yeah, the backup netminder, Charlie Lindgren, he did enough to win this game, made enough key saves here to get the 2 points for the Caps in regulation tonight. I wouldn't say that he was as good as he was in that game, his previous game that he played against the Los Angeles Kings, for sure. But he made enough big saves at key times, right? Like I said, never letting the Montreal Canadiens tie this game at any point other than when it was 1-1, right? So the Caps kept taking leads. They would take 2-goal leads. Montreal would, like I said, get within 1, but that is okay because the Caps and Charlie Lindgren specifically never let them tie the game up, right? So that is so key. Several big saves for Charlie Lindgren again here tonight. Like I said, on the second half of a back-to-back, another back-to-back here for the Washington Capitals. And these ones are so tough, right? The back-to-backs with overnight travel, right? And crossing the border at that makes it even tougher. It always takes a long time to cross the border. Anyone who has been through that knows how long that can take and how time consuming that is and how tiring that is. It can be exhausting. So yeah, these situations here on these back-to-backs for the Caps where they are traveling in between and traveling far in between crossing the border, like I said, this is what I asked for, right? I asked for Charlie Lindgren a few videos ago to just start playing a little bit better, start making a few more saves, start giving the Caps an actual chance to get points out of these games in these second halves of these back-to-backs. And he is certainly doing that here now. These last couple of games, he has played much, much better. Obviously, the game against the LA Kings, he was phenomenal. That one was not a back-to-back, but then again here tonight, it is another back-to-back. Another second half of a back-to-back for Charlie Lindgren, and he comes up large, like I said, several key saves. So you love to see it from your goaltender and from all of the boys here tonight. forwards on down, defensemen and goaltender, everyone playing a great game here tonight. And yeah, like I said, the Caps, they should have been the ones with the tired legs here, but they outskated the Montreal Canadiens for large portions of this game, outshooting them, like I said, 36-28, and yeah, getting the jump on them early, and never letting them really get back in this hockey game. Like I said, not letting them ever tie it up at any point there late after it was 1-1. So great job all around by the Caps. You love getting 2 points on the second half of a back-to-back. That is for sure. And yeah, overall here now, the Caps have obviously won 3 straight. They have points in 4 straight now, going back to that shootout loss against the New Jersey Devils. Was it shootout or overtime? Now I don't remember. But regardless, that extra time, whether it was overtime or shootout loss, against the New Jersey Devils. So they have points in 4 straight. They have won 3 straight. And yeah, coming out on top in both games of this back-to-back against the Edmonton Oilers first, and now here tonight against the Montreal Canadiens on the second half of the back-to-back. That is really big, taking 4 of 4 points on a back-to-back. All right, babes, that is going to be it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I appreciate all of you guys so much. If you enjoyed the video, click on that like button down below there for me. If you really enjoyed the video, click on that subscribe button if you have not already done so. And if you have already subscribed, then share us with a friend, a family member, a coworker, whoever it may be, any fellow Caps fan, right? Get them involved here on the YouTube channel for these post-game reaction videos. We want to expand the conversation here, get everybody's opinions involved here. Leave me your comments down below, as always. I always love reading those comments from you guys. I always love hearing what you guys have to say and hearing your insights on the team and how they're playing. So yeah, drop me those comments down there below. And yeah, just thank you all really so much for being here, having a blast here. It is great that the Caps appear to be back. They are scoring a lot of goals here again now, and they are winning hockey games once again as well. So this looks a lot more like what we expected from them this season, after that amazing season that they had last season. So we are back, baby. We hope, right? So yeah, let's hope that they can keep it up here. And yeah, until next time, babes. And as always, let's go Caps.